Bosskey is a game studio co-founded by former Epic Games guy Cliff Bleszinski. He set up the studio with another former Epic Games guy, Arjan Brussee. Well, after releasing just one game with the studio, Brussee has now left Bosskey to rejoin Epic Games.
Bosskey co-founder Arjan Brussee has left the North Carolina-based studio. In a tweet confirming the news on Friday, Brussee said he will return to his old studio, Epic Games, after 20 years away to work on, quotes, an exciting secret project. He worked at Epic in the 90s before moving on to establish Guerrilla Games, then what made Killzone and Horizon Zero Dawn. He also spent some time at EA Visceral, the people who made Dead Space before being shut down by EA earlier this year. Bosskey are, of course, the people behind this year's Lawbreakers, which has not performed well at all for player numbers since launching on PS4 and PC in July. It was originally meant to be free to play, but launched at a sub full price $30 instead. Bosskey has been working hard to boost the low player numbers with the release on Xbox One and Nintendo Switch, as well as even a move to free to play, all being considered apparently. The studio's fellow co-founder Cliff Bleszinski described Brussee in a tweet as, quote, "Not only a brilliant person, but also a dear friend, and I wish him well in his future endeavours. Onward and upward, still making games here."
I mean, you don't have to go far to be able to see how badly Lawbreakers has done for Bosskey and Cliff Bleszinski. I'm looking at the stats right here. 30 concurrent players. That's 3-0. It sounds like Arjan Brussee is like you hear that expression, rats jumping off a sinking ship. That is what it feels like, because he's going to work on some exciting secret project. It's kind of implying that Lawbreakers isn't exciting.
Well, I mean,
it's definitely not secret.
It's currently a kind of revival project, I guess, isn't it? They want to get it back to life, and I think maybe a move to free to play might be the best, most realistic option at this point. And that's what a lot of games have tried to do. It's worked for some, it's failed for others. It's not the end of the road, I don't think. Games can be revived, but these player numbers are really low, so they've got to not only get the game to be good, they've got to get the word of mouth spreading and all that sort of stuff. So it's just interesting that this guy set up a new studio with Cliff Bleszinski, full of like optimism or whatever, and then after the first game, he's out. So yeah.
Make of that what you will. Also in the news, Steam has launched Curator Connect, a new service aimed at clamping down on Steam key fraudsters. Apparently, there's a big problem in the industry with people pretending to be hot shit YouTube personalities like us in order to... Does that sound like we were being like...
That was a joke.
Like I said, hot shit YouTube personalities like us in order to get Steam keys off of publishers, then sell them on reseller sites like G2A. Well, Valve's new service should put a stop to this. The Curator Connect service, announced in October, is now being rolled out to developers and Steam curators. Developers will be able to send games directly through Steam to curators they wish to work with. If a curator accepts, then the game just appears in their library, therefore completely bypassing the need for keys. There's also some extra features that, for example, let devs and publishers see just how influential creators are and what kind of games they play.
So this is kind of an evolution of the Steam curator system. So there's a curator system on Steam, so you can follow people. I think the most prominent ones are like Rock Paper Shotgun, Total Biscuit, and whatever, and they just kind of recommend games to their audience. Well, this is kind of an evolution of that, I suppose, because it's kind of direct communication from developers and publishers to those people so that they can just activate games on their accounts. So Total Biscuit, for example, rather than be emailed keys or have to request keys, games will just appear in a Steam library if he wants them, and that's kind of how it works, and that's how it's going to work for everyone in the future. And they're trying to clamp down on the number of just game keys that are flying around the internet, because people literally email publishers. Like, you might just email, like, I don't know, like Sony or whatever, and just be like, hey, can I have a key for this game, please? Cheers. And believe me, I am Total Biscuit. And then they get the key and then they just sell it on G2A or something. So they just want to stop that from happening by doing this. Whether or not it's a good idea, I don't know, but it seems to make total sense for them and for publishers. Also in the news, Ubisoft has officially delayed 3 of its big upcoming releases. Far Cry 5 has been pushed back to March 27th, 2018. That's a whole month later than expected. That game about driving and stuff, The Crew 2, has been pushed clean out of its release window, moving from March 16th, 2018 into Ubisoft's 2018-19 fiscal year. That means it launches in April next year at the earliest. Then on top of that, another as yet unrevealed franchise has been shunted into the 2019-2020 fiscal year. So why has Ubisoft done this? Well, the publisher said it is, quote, investing more time in the development of the titles. Ubisoft Worldwide Studios Executive Director Christine Burgess-Kumard said, quote, "This decision is in line with our strategic vision of developing even more engaging and higher quality experiences for gamers. Taking more time with Assassin's Creed Origins enabled our talented dev team to fully express their creative vision. As expected, this had a very positive impact on the game's quality and largely participated to its commercial success. Taking a similar approach, we have decided to invest additional development time in 3 upcoming games." My God, I think that's the sound of a AAA publisher realizing that it might be a good idea to make good games. That's what's happened. It's Ubisoft going, hang on a minute. If we work harder, if we make games good, then we get more money.
If we allow people to be creative and to be creative and make the games as the best version that we can of them, they will sell more copies. People will talk about it and think the games are good, and that will make us more money. Like, who'd have thought it? That's some genius. Some genius has worked that out in some board meeting somewhere. Fair play to him. That's some high level thinking.
I mean, it shows the state of the industry that this is a revelation for Ubisoft. It is great to hear Ubisoft saying this. This is after all the company that released an Assassin's Creed game every single year for about 10 years or whatever. I don't know, that's just a guess, but it's a lot of Assassin's Creed games, just churning them out, and that's been their mentality with a lot of games. We've had many Far Cry games in the last few years. There's another one coming next year. So it's great to see that publisher going, hang on, let's slow down and make some good games and see what happens. Because it's happened with Assassin's Creed Origins. They delayed that, they gave that a year off. That series has come out and it's had a much warmer reaction than Assassin's Creed has been having for the past few years. And that's good, and that's what they want, because they're making more money.
Before we compliment them too much on this revelation that they've made in some board meetings somewhere, you've got to consider the fact that this might just be them trying to implement de novo like they have done in Assassin's Creed, like giving themselves extra time because this works so well. It's still not cracked. Assassin's Creed Origins is still not cracked because they've got this like dual layer of DRM, right? So de novo and some other thing, and that's enabled it to be like safe, like nobody's been able to crack it. The cynic in me says it's more than likely the fact that they're trying to implement the same kind of DRM. But then again, it's just a speculation. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the world is a nice place. Probably not. And before you thought we'd get through a whole video without a PUBG story, well, here's 2 of them in a row. First up, Battlegrounds hit the headlines on Monday when character artist Liz Edwards noticed something about the game's female character models. Previously, there was no real definition around the female crotch of those character models, but now in the game's test server, there kind of is. The game's creator, Brendan Green, addressed this himself in a tweet saying, quote, "After looking into this," I'm sure he did, "it appears it came as part of the character model we received from an outsourcer when we first started the project. The file itself has not been changed in 2 years. It will be updated shortly with changes. Sorry for any offense caused." The problem here is, if it wasn't kind of implied strongly enough there, is that there was a camel toe on one of the female characters on the test server. How that went 2 years without being noticed, I don't know. People are upset by the female anatomy. I personally don't get it. You've got games like Conan Exiles, whatever it is, where you literally get to choose the size of the male...
Customizable dongs.
Customizable dongs. The fact that he's got to defend himself for this. The fact that he's got to look into it. I'm just a child. Sorry.
And in the second bit of Battlegrounds news for today, the game is finally going live on Xbox One on December the 12th. Not only that, the game will leave early access on December the 20th on the PC as well. That's right, the game's going to reach its 1.0 full launch state with just over a week left of the promised 2017 release window. The 1.0 patch will, according to Brendan Green, change the game severely, including the new desert map called Miramar. Yeah, it's quite funny that there's like a week left and they're like, technically, we did get it out in 2017, all right? There's no accusations of them booting this out just so that Brendan Green can say, yeah, well, I said it would come out in 2017, and it is. Has it got vaulting in it? Yeah, that's all I want to know. Can you vault stuff?
I don't think you can. In the test server you have.
It's an experimental stage, that vaulting. Big feature.
It's funny how Xbox gets like the version 1.0, right? Or that gets released like on the 12th, whereas PC players got to wait a week later. Whereas the PC players from the very start are the ones who kind of backed it in early access.
We're bankrolling this whole thing.
Bankrolled the whole thing, and we don't even get it. I say we, but the PC players don't even get it before the Xbox players. The one, but I think I don't know. I'm still a bit bitter about that. I guess I just want a fully featured game that we backed in early access. That's the point of it, right?
I just want Battlegrounds to stop being in the news. Is what I want.
Yeah, but once
once
it's released, yeah,
and then you can stop announcing like vaulting and stuff like that,
and we can stop talking about it. And,
yeah.
And shit. So those were some of the headlines from the past few days. Anything we missed or anything that stuck out to you, let us know down in the comments below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are new around here. Check out another one of our videos on the screen there. Support us on Patreon if you are awesome. We will see you again next time. Bye for now.